Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mental Health Matters with me. It's a brand new episode, and this time around, we are going to be looking into mental health in South Africa because I think it's really important to understand your context and understand how mental health functions wherever you are. Um, Really important for us to note that where you come from, where you are, your environment, your background, culture, influences around you in your community, with whoever that you connect with, wherever you are, it does influence, it does impact your mental health. You cannot ignore it. I know a lot of people might say something like, but I'm okay, or I don't want to talk about mental health. I'm not interested. But the truth of the matter is, whether you're interested or not, where you are, your environment will greatly influence you. And even worse, when you're not aware of your own mental health, when you don't have an awareness of your own mental health, that's when you are strongly influenced, and you can be influenced by anything or anybody. It really doesn't matter. So those things have an impact on what you regard to be your mental health system. So it's really important for me to go into this because I am South African, and I think my perspective around mental health, even when it comes to my coaching um, or counseling, it is greatly shaped and influenced by the environment that I come from, where I'm at currently. And to be quite honest, or brutally honest, mental health is not a thing for Black people or African culture. It's not our thing, right? That's what people say. It's just not our thing. It's more of a Western white thing, right? So when you just pop up and you just want to address issues like mental health, it's a sensitive topic. Why is it a sensitive topic? Because we can't identify with it. We're not allowed to identify with it if you look down at the history of South Africans, particularly Black South Africans, because I am a Black person. So I don't know much about, other races and so on, or ethnicities. If you look at that, we were not allowed. And if you look at the history of South Africa, we were not allowed. I think for the most part, our parents were struggling with trying to put this country together and trying to, make it work as a marginalized society. And nobody had the time. No one had the time. It was like trauma after trauma. Imagine being a Black woman and you have children at that time, you have teenagers during the uprisings, during the protests, and so on. And your children went to school, right? This is what you wake up, you prepare everything, and your children go to school. And next thing you know, it's the end of the day, and one of your children, or even both, or even all, are nowhere to be found for days and days and days. And eventually, some of them go missing, some of them are, jailed and so on by the, government and the system and everything. I don't want to go into history, and I don't want to be all political about it, but I think that as South Africans, of course, we know the history and we know everything that has happened. And what I'm just trying to do is paint a picture to help us realize why nobody really had the time to say, oh, what is really, really going on with me mentally? What is really going on with me emotionally? Because you just had to take blow after blow. Like it was just one trauma after the other, one trauma. Not forgetting the fact that you also have your individual trauma. You also have your childhood trauma in whatever way, really. And this is why for people that would say, I don't identify with that, my mental health is okay and everything, I'm all right. Like, I grew up in an okay environment. You can't say that you are not affected. You are affected because you go into these spaces, you have to deal with different kinds of people. You have family, you have friends, you have people that you connect with. As human beings, we constantly codepend. I don't, you know, no matter how you look at it, we are codependent on each other in one way or the other. And you are dealing with a lot of people that haven't had the chance to deal with their traumas, and they don't know what to do because, like I said, it's something that is just not part of it. It's just not part of this life. So you obviously will get affected by so many things. Even worse, when you are in a workplace and there's certain people that are leading you, bosses, managers, whatever. Those things play out. If their mental health is not in the right space, then it does affect every decision that is made regarding that space. So all I'm saying is that it's everywhere, whether it's at the workplace, whether it's at the shops, whether it's at the street corners or wherever. Somewhere, somehow, you do get affected because we are a society that has been abused beyond um I don't know, beyond something, really, beyond this whole entire world. We have been abused, we have been marginalized, we have been oppressed in so many ways, and there was no time. I feel like if you look at the Black society, it's like mental illness is so present, but so present to a point where it has become so normal. So if you see a person or if you begin to observe yourself, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to pick up. It's very difficult to pick up because it's now a matter of normalized behavior. It's like, no, but this is, it's whatever. Oh, no, but this person is upset. This is why she's talking to me like this. So, no, I'd probably this person is just going through a lot. This is why she's behaving or he's behaving in this kind of way. So we've overlooked it. We've normalized an unhealthy mental health system because we don't know. And here's the thing, right? Every time you start talking about these things, people just generally get exhausted. Like, why does she want to talk about this? This is so exhausting. It feels like now I'm trying to dig into, your problems and the issues that you don't want to deal with. And the minute we start talking about such things, this is why it's extremely, I need to emphasize that it is extremely difficult to be a mental health advocate, to be a mental health content creator of any sort and share this kind of information because there are a lot of people that look at you like, she's just trying to make my problems, she's just trying to increase the problems that I'm dealing with. She's just trying to dig into my issues. And I don't want that because we all want to seem perfect. We all want to seem like, oh, we got you got yourself together. We all want to have fun. We all want to have a great time. And that's the thing about South Africans. South Africans love entertainment. South Africans want to have fun and we all want to have fun. We all just want to have good. You just want to wake up and pop up and listen, there's a vibe, it's great, life is good. But it has come to a point where I think it's no longer a matter of having fun, but it's a matter of how can I just escape from my own mind, from my problems, from everything that is just going on. Even worse, because now it's not even a matter of how can I escape, because when you try and escape and let's say you get into your social media, you watch TV, you turn on some radio station, it's like all these issues that are happening on a collective are just in your face and they trigger you. And now you have to respond from your place where you are dealing with your own individual issues. So now what happens? It Social media becomes a very toxic outside. Wherever you go, it's just negative vibes, toxicity, toxic energy, and it's not intentional. It is not intentional. I've had to learn very quickly that when people act a certain type of way in public out there, at the shops or whatever, it is not intentional. I've come to understand that it's either they just don't know how to deal with everything, and you just so happen to be the victim, or they've just accepted that this is just who I am and this is just how I'm going to approach things. They've made that decision. I don't know how conscious though, but they've made that decision somewhere, somehow, that, this is just going to be the way I deal with everybody, everything, and just life in general. So I've learned to understand that. And the question is then, do a lot of people understand that? I don't necessarily think so, because when you get to that space, you're also dealing with your own things, like I said. And when you are triggered, I don't think there's enough time for you to process the fact that this person that you're interacting with is going through their own thing. You just pop off. You just go ham. You just go for them. And I've been that person. I've been in that kind of space, because sometimes I feel like I'm not going to take every blow, because I am also going through it. I'm also going through so many things. And there literally are people that look at you and think, oh, ooh, she is living her best life. She doesn't have any problems. She never had to go through, just at face value, just through the way you look. And some people, that triggers them. It triggers them that, oh, she looks happy. She looks bright. She looks, put together. So that means she's not going through anything. She's not even feeling what I'm feeling. So guess what? Something in them gets triggered, and they will somehow attack you in however way. So if you look at all those traits, if you look at all those patterns and personalities, that's when you realize that our society is going through it. And even worse, how can we be open? How can we be open to information that we don't know anything about? It was not part of our upbringing. It was not part of what we do and who we are. If you look at a lot of content creators, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, particularly South African or even African, because there are a lot of similarities there and there, especially around the Black household, maybe a Black mother or father, a family, and the upbringing and how they would respond to certain things. Those skits are valid. They are 100% genuine, and we all enjoy them. They're very entertaining, but they are actually painting a very sad picture. And they would usually compare it to how, for example, how a Black mother would respond to a child who maybe came back home late, or didn't do the dishes, or didn't do their homework, compared to how a white mom would respond if, the scenario was the same. So it's really, really sad. And am I here to say that we should be like other cultures and other people? That's not what I'm saying. We'll never be that. We are who we are, end of story, and we are proud of that. But it shows how, in that moment, there's no way that that mom could have an awareness that actually maybe the way I'm responding is not the best way to deal with this issue. If I want my child not to continue to do the same thing or continue to behave this way, maybe I need to have a different approach. I don't think that we have that kind of thing. There's no space for that, nor the awareness for that. So that shows you a lot that is going on. And if you go back into the very same space, especially social media and all of that, you can see spaces like Twitter. I always say Twitter, whatever it is that you're tweeting, whatever it is that you're sharing with people, it's usually a reflection of not only what you're thinking, but who you are and what you're going through. And I know a lot of people will just say, oh no, but we're just, just being funny, or I'm just trying to get, I don't know, followers or something. But underneath all of that, it really shows, it paints a picture of who you are. It paints a picture of who you are. And it's really alarming. It is really, really alarming. Um, and I know that the younger generation is more aware, and they are doing the best that they can to really take care of their own mental health, learn about how to deal with issues, and be more active, be more proactive, which is good because we are making progress, but we still have a very, very long way to go. Because why? If you look at the leaders of this country, they are old people. And there's a lot of things that we're dealing with on a national level. For example, we have this power crisis that we are in right now. And whether you can say, listen, I'm not into politics, whether everybody at this point is affected by all the things that are happening. So now think about that. Think about the collective issues that we have. And then you have you to deal with. Right now, that people that literally have no food to eat. They don't have any food to eat. So if you think about that kind of situation, does that person really have the chance and the opportunity to process their own mental health and how they really feel about themselves, whether or not they believe in themselves, whether or not their self-esteem? They don't have the time to do that. They don't have the time to do that because their basic needs are not met. Number two is something that has just never been a part of them anyway. It's not part of their upbringing. It's not part of their environment. It's something that has never been promoted in this country. In South Africa, it has never been promoted. We get a lot of people that are constantly cyberbullying others on these platforms. Why? I mean, a lot of people would say, oh, but let's say, for example, if it's like a celebrity or an influencer, a well-known person, a lot of people say, oh, but yes, that's the role that they're playing. That's the role that they're playing. Of course, they constantly broadcast their lives. And yes, they obviously going to have haters and people are going to attack them. But in South Africa, they listen, the way that people online attack these celebrities and these influencers and these people, it is so sad. It's really, really sad. It's really sad. People go in, they go for your children, your kids, how you look, everything that's just going to break you down. It is going to destroy you and break you down. And people have normalized it to a certain extent. I mean, there are some people that have stood up for themselves. There are some people that have stood up for themselves, whether it's either in a legal way or just by confronting, or taking certain measures to block all the hate and all the hurtful things that can really break your spirit as a person. But at the same time, there is a group of people that are literally enjoying it, and we, find it entertaining. It's like, but maybe they're just joking or something like that. But the truth of the matter is, it's not. it's a lot of projection, because we look at these people and we thinking they've got money and we all want money. They've got this and they've got that. So why not your, I think your mind, at the back of your mind, you're like, actually, let me rather attack this person because I feel like they're better than me. If it seems like they're perfect, they got it all together. So maybe if I attack them, it will fill in that void. It will help me, somewhere, somehow. Whether you're doing this on a conscious or unconscious level. And what I mean is, sometimes you don't have to tell yourself that, yes, I'm going to attack her because she thinks she's better than me and she's this and she's that. No. Sometimes it's just all happening. It's all happening. You are triggered, so you begin to act in that manner because you feel like that's just going to make you feel better. Because already you don't feel adequate. Already you feel like you have a lot of problems, and you feel like you'll never have that amount of money, or maybe you really, really admire this person and you want to be like that person, but you know that you can't be that person, you can only be yourself. So there are a lot of things that play out that we are not aware, and that might be happening unconsciously without you actually planning to do all of that. And so I feel like that's where we are. We have come to a point where our triggers are now just playing out. It's like, I don't know, like a soccer match or something where, the ball is the trigger and it just gets thrown and everybody is just chasing it and everybody wants it. Everybody wants to score that goal, and this trigger is just going from one person to another person. So all of our emotions, anger, and so many things, jealousy, envy, trauma, this, that, an inferior complex, all of that is just getting thrown everywhere and wherever you go. And that is, I feel, the mental state of this country, the mental health state of this country. This is where we at. This is where we are as people. And I think that it's an individual thing. What I mean by that is, in order for us to slowly tackle the issues that we have in any kind of space, in public, out there on the streets and everything, unfortunately, we are going to have to do the individual work. You're going to have to do the individual work and really assess your behavior and assess what you're really feeling and what's just really going on with you. I always say this, we constantly know what is going on out there. We constantly know what is going on about other people, especially maybe the people that we look to or the people that influence us, but we have no freaking clue as to what is going on with ourselves. We have no clue whatsoever. So I think if people were not so afraid of themselves, if people took the time to actually start introspecting and asking yourself, like, what's just going on in my life? Oh, this is not working out. Why is it not working out? This is how I feel about this person. I hate, or I don't like this person, or whatever. Why? What did they do? How did it affect you? Maybe they didn't do anything to you, but there's something that's making you feel some type of way. Think about it. When I react in a certain type of way, usually just wonder how other people feel about that and how other people react. I think the best way, honestly, is to look at how people react towards you, how people act towards you if you are afraid of going inside, because I think that we have a lot of distractions in this country more than ever, and entertainment is our biggest distraction. Do we love entertainment? Yes, we love it. I love it. I mean, we just want to relax and have fun. Like I said, we are very entertaining. We love entertainment. South Africans just have naturally we rule the entertainment world, in my opinion, you know. And I think sometimes that becomes a big distraction because we are not able to really, really focus on some of the things that matter. And what happens is that we overindulge. Um, for example, we have a high alcoholism rate in this country. People, at this point, people are not drinking, just to get into the vibe and have fun and have a good time. We are not doing it to have a good time. At this point, we are doing it to forget about the problems that we are dealing with, whether individually, in your family, in your community, in your relationship, in your country, in your society. At this point, we are just trying to drown our sorrows. These are the things that are thriving. If you look at things, you're trying to deal with the fact that you don't or you cannot afford this and you cannot afford that, but you got to get that bottle, you got to get that alcohol so that you can feel like you're functioning. I think it has come to that point. And it's great that we are talented and we have all these gifts and talents, but I think that we really need to take a step back and analyze where we are and who we are, because we are in a crisis. And I think that we should try not to look at this whole mental health thing being a Western concept or something like that, but try to look at just where we are, why we feel the way that we feel, why we act the way that we act, why we act in certain types of ways. And why do you wake up and you feel like you're dealing with the same problem? And yes, of course, there's so many people and so many things to blame and the system, but that's in the past that we are right here. So I think this is exactly what we are going to be doing for the next few episodes. We are going to break down mental health in South Africa and how we can individually try to tackle a few things so that we can get to a point where we are mentally aware of ourselves and try to make sense of the things that we are either hiding, ashamed of, or we just don't want to deal with. So once again, I thank you so much. Stay tuned in, and of course you can follow me on social media, on my other platforms. I will definitely see you next time, and take care. Bye.